Let's say a very good morning, though, to Richard Holden, MP, Shadow Paymaster General. Richard, nice to see you. Happy Easter.
Nice to see you, Mike. Happy Easter.
Now, I've got one question for you. When is Keir Starmer, the chief lawyer in this country, the man who lives by the framework of the law, the man who knows the law inside out, the man who said that he was the chief prosecutor and he knows how to prosecute the law in all situations, when is he going to come out and say how happy he is that the law has now been clarified so that we know that only a biological woman who was born a woman can be a woman?
Well, it's a very good question, Mike. This clarification for the Equalities Act has been absolutely unanimous by the Supreme Court, which has been fantastic news for those campaigners for women's rights up and down the country. And, you know, Keir Starmer has flip-flopped over this issue over the years, saying that, well, you know, some women can have penises in the past. That's obviously clearly not the case. That's what the Supreme Court have determined. And I think the Equalities and Human Rights Commission now need to come forward with that guidance on how we can ensure all of these issues that we've seen with women being put into difficult situations because they've got biological men in their prisons or in their women's refuges and all that sort of thing. We need to get that guidance out as quickly as possible so we can stop what has been a relentless push of this nonsense over the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely right. The one thing that Starmer has said so far this morning, it's the first tweet he's put out in 24 hours, is he says waiting list down, appointments up, more patients able to access tests and treatments closer to home. Our plan for change is fixing the NHS so working people can get care when and where you need it. Well, that's just rubbish, I'm sorry to say. I get people every single day talking to me on this show about how they get appointments made and appointments broken, how they're getting no faster access to a GP. They're still waiting 7, 8, 9 hours in A&E to be treated. I mean, appointments are not up. Waiting lists are only down because they're removing people from those lists. They're not actually seeing them. You know, when is this guy going to start telling the truth?
Well, it's a really good question. One of the biggest issues I've had locally in Basildon and Billericay is my GPs have been coming to me locally and saying, Richard, we've got a real problem at the moment because this national insurance tax hike, which is absolutely hitting them, they are not being given any extra funding to meet. So they are having to find out their own budgets, which means either reducing the amount of hours they're going to put their doctors onto the front line for, or on the flip side, reducing those reception staff. So actually all of those appointments that need to be made just can't be made. Right. So they're being absolutely hammered. And I don't think this has even crossed the mind of Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves that all of these tax increases are putting through. Yes, they're absolutely hammering private businesses, who are the ones who actually fund our public services, but they're actually hammering the public services themselves as well. Because I've got schools, GP services in my constituency coming to me and saying, we're not getting the funding to even meet the extra national insurance costs, so they're going to have to cut staff as well.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. I mean, we had inflation figures coming back out of the National Office of National Statistics yesterday at 2.6%. I had an avalanche of people getting in touch with me to say, how can inflation only be at 2.6%? We've got, you know, water bills going up, you know, 50% sometimes. We've got council tax up sometimes as much as 10%. We've got every single thing you go to buy in the supermarket is up by at least a third, you know, and it's going to get worse in April.
Yeah, look, I think we have seen, due to some international factors, petrol has come down a little bit over the last couple of months.
Well, oil's come down,
but I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, exactly. But I think actually when you look at all of these tax rises that are coming through and other things, I think I really don't think we're out of the woods at all on inflation. And I'm sure a lot of what your listeners are getting and viewers and my constituents get, you know, the actual feeling on the ground, I'm sure that'll feed through into the inflation numbers in coming months as well.
Yeah. And the final question on Keir Starmer, I'm sorry to concentrate so much on him. Do you think he might wish anybody a happy Easter? Do you think there's any chance of that?
Well, it's not been the way he's done things in the past, is it? Let's be honest. I think what I really want from Keir Starmer, if I'm totally honest, is I want him to accept that his policy of apparently smashing the gangs, which has actually led to a 50% increase in the number of people crossing the channel, is total nonsense. He should have stuck with a deportation plan like we were pushing for with Rwanda, and he should actually now say he was wrong and get on board with that, because we're never never going to stop these crossings without a proper overseas solution. And I think that's one of the biggest things, the biggest bugbears that I've got, is that basically he says one thing and then he actually delivers something completely different. And he said he was going to smash the gangs. If he wants to smash them, we have to have that offshore processing alternative. If not, then it'll just be another of those promises which he's made and never stuck to.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. Richard Holden MP, thank you very much indeed. Shadow Paymaster General. It's a bit like that line in The Departed, isn't it? When you're going to marginally disrupt the gangs as opposed to actually smashing them. They haven't even managed to do that, for heaven's sake.